Hello, everyone. So I'm going to present our project, which is somewhere in the mid of its duration, and we'll try to highlight some of the finding without analysis. We are still going to do some in-depth analysis, what we have done so far. So our project is basically focusing on three disciplines. So we're focusing on health researcher, built environment, and environmental sciences. And I will tell you what was the reason why we focus on these three disciplines. So you can see the partners of our project. So I have put the logos of them. But what I try to do every day, I try to clean my desk, and sometimes I do things in a little bit rush. So just to meet the deadline. So what I forget here, I forget to include my own university logo here. So apology for that. I realized it's slightly earlier, but I said, let me use this in opportunities. So those who are not from Bristol, were coming from other cities. So welcome to Bristol. You might be aware that there are two universities, and you might think that there's only one university, that is University of Bristol. There is another university, which is the University of West of England, where I work. And there will be opportunity, if you like this project, we will be doing a focus group discussion, and you will be more than welcome to visit our universities for that purpose. So the initial code so far, which we looking to the data which we have collected from our surveys and the two workshops which we have done so far. So the initial thoughts or the initial code, which you can see on the screen, the challenge is not to access to compute, it is access with trust, usabilities, and real-world workflow. So our goal, the project goal, is to inform an inclusive, trusted, user-centered HPC roadmap. Seems quite nice, and we'll see at the end of the project how much we contribute to that roadmap. So looking to that goal, the aim is basically to identify the barrier to HPC adoption. Again, we are focusing on three disciplines: health researcher, and I realize that these are the researchers which is super busy and quite difficult to engage. And then to understand the trust and governance need, and capture cross-sector user requirement, and ultimately provide the recommendation to the NFCS. So what was our approach at the beginning? And we tried to keep our approach. So we didn't change our approach. So we said we are going to use a questionnaire. So in the questionnaire, we target those researchers, those three disciplines. And then we are basically organizing three workshops, which we have done two of them. And the next one is taking place on the 4th March. So if you are somewhere in London, or if you are free on 4th March, you are more than welcome to join us. So far we have collected 67 responses. We have done one workshop with health researcher, and to motivate those people to come to that workshop, we keep that workshop in Welcome Trust Building. And thank you to Welcome Trust Building. They didn't charge us for the venue. They did charge for the catering, but yeah. So that was basically the aim, to motivate the people to come to the workshop. We did another workshop with built environment, which is my discipline. We hold that workshop in Birmingham. In both workshops, we were having around 20 people. Some people, after lunch, they disappear because of some reason. Yes. The project team. So my name is Tariq Umar. Might be you see the picture is looking younger. That's an older picture. My colleague is here. Sun is somewhere here. He's always busy. So he remained busy, and he said, Tariq, you are the PA, so you decide, And we have Professor James Smith. He's a computer scientist. So the reason why we focus on three disciplines, because I'm from the built environment, my colleague's son is from environmental sciences, and Professor James Smith is a computer scientist, but he do a lot of research to health research and data. So that's why we're focusing on three disciplines. Okay, so just try to capture some thoughts we have collected from our survey. So our respondent from health research, environmental sciences, and built environment, 90% they never use the HPC. 38% they say we have used it, but we have heard about but never use it. 26% they say some understanding, 28% they said we are active or slight or expert user. So majority of our participants so far in the survey can be classified as non-user or let's say early stage user. Now, this is basically putting English to the diagram. You might like it or you don't like it, but you can see how does the split among the awareness is there. Importance of HPC, yes, majority of them, they say, yes, it's quite important or essential. If you look at to the scaling, so 4.05 out of 5 on the scale. Well, there's a low use, but there is a demand basically. So the survey result, so far result says that there is a great demand of using HPC. Again, this is you can see how the split is there. So we have less than 5% not important, but if you look at the moderate important or very important or let's say essential important, so that's range from let's say 12 to more than 25%. Right, now looking to the barriers, we said we need to ask those barriers, to see what the people think, why they are not using it, what are the issues around, the driver, before come to the barrier. The driver, so obviously some have quoted the heavy computation, big data storage, obviously the parallel computation and GPU and AI usage. And in built environment, we use the digital twins, not only just in built environment, but also environmental sciences and simulation stuff. And you can see other parameters on the diagram. The key barriers, some of the key barriers which is reported by the participant, they said, well, this is quite complex, quite time consuming. If I need to use it, I need to apply for the time and stuff like that. That is quite a complex process. We also noted that some of the participants, they said that, they want to use it, but they don't have those skills that needed to use. And then the cost and resource allocation and software and workflow mismatch, and obviously things related to the data. Like, for example, the health researcher, they said our data is quite sensitive. We have patient data, we have, our other data which we cannot easily, take from one place to another place. And the same way the built environment, they said our data is quite commercially sensitive, so we cannot just simply move around. So there is issues around governance and data as well. So again, this is, you can see the split of the different barriers which we have asked. Okay, so we did the workshop with health researcher, and the key theme which is arriving from that workshop. Obviously, we still need to analyze that in more detail. There is element of the TRE, Trusted Research Environment approval, and obviously the compliance burden. Again, the time frame, the onboarding time, and obviously issues around privacy and modern disclosure. And people are kind of concerned that what if our data will be used to train the AI. They like the idea of federation, but there should be some guardrail to make sure that. As I said, we did our first workshop in London in Wellcome Trust. Some of the participants, we had a good number of registrations, but ultimately we get like around 40 people. And some people said, well, the date was quite closer to the Christmas. And I said I was very selfish because this was the only time when I was free from teaching, So the teaching ended, and then I said I will organize the workshop. So you might see some of the faces sitting around you. We asked a number of questions. So these are the set of questions. So we initially focus on in the first set of questions, we focus on the barrier and also the secure data environment. And then we focus also on the trust, privacy, and governance. And then finally, we ask questions from the participant, thinking about the future vision and the roadmap. Similarly, we did the workshop with a similar line of question with the built environment. So the key issues arriving, or the key themes arriving from that workshop, is the data control and thinking about the control of the client. They also highlighted the IP protection and the collaboration agreement. they also indicated the software licensing and constraint. In the built environment, we use a lot of these BIM and digital twins. So compatibilities were also a issue. Built environment, we work on a lot of data. So these data are basically held by different companies, city sponsors and stuff like that. So first of all, they are reluctant to share the data with us. But if I tell them that I'm going to use this data on the HPC, they will say, go away. So it's quite an issue with the data in our discipline as well. Okay, so that was held in Birmingham. So you can see some of the nice faces there, the workshop participant, and some of you might be present here. So we look at from the same angle. So looking to the barrier to HPC adaptation in the built environment, and then we look at question around trust, data and governance, and future vision and roadmap. Now, what is going to happen next? So we have done 2 workshops. We are still collecting data through the questionnaire. Our next workshop is taking place on 4th March. We are inviting people from environmental sciences. So if you are from environmental sciences, you are most welcome to attend that workshop. Apart from that workshop, we are also organizing a training event, a facility visit event to facilitate the let's say new researchers who are interested to use the HPC in their research. So that will take place somewhere in May. So if you are a HPC if you are working in an HPC and if you think that you can help us to arrange that training, that will be great. As I said, we will be also holding a focus group discussion. So if you would be interested to participate in that focus group discussion and visit my universities, just let me know. Our university is just quite closer from here, and the day is not like the full day, so we're not going to hold you for the full day. It will be a two-hour focus group discussion. You come in the morning, we will serve you with the coffee. You will take 2 hours in the focus group discussion. You will do the lunch, and then you go home. Right, so not for the full day, right? Okay. Just a quick one, as I mentioned, we are holding our next workshop in Imperial College, Environmental Sciences. Even if you are related to somehow not working directly in the environmental sciences, but if you are slightly closer, you are most welcome to attend this workshop. Thank you very much for your attention.